And welcome today to this live session of the closing session of the Food System Innovation Challenge. Today we're here in the studio and, we're going to be your host. My name is Jente Fabriek. I'm the youth representative, no, not representative, the youth coordinator of the Student Challenge, and I'm here with my colleague, Paul Geurts.
Thank you, Jente, and welcome everybody also online. It's a pleasure to have so many of you attending us. It's been a great few months in organizing this challenge, and today we're going to finally announce who won the challenge. But before we do that, I would like to explain a bit more about the background of this challenge, and then after that, Jente will tell you a bit more about today's session and how we will take you through the program. So the Food Systems Innovation Challenge, it's, as you all might know, part of a bigger event that's organized as a pre-event of the United Nations Food Systems Summit. And that pre-event is organized by a number of organizations worldwide, including companies, governmental organizations, NGOs, and of course a number of universities. And in preparing this bigger event, the program committee thought it wise and good to also have the voice of the students and youth in the whole event. And that's when Wageningen University and Research, together with 4 of its partners in the A5 Alliance, the Agri-Food 5 Alliance, decided to organize this Food Systems Innovation Challenge. We are very pleased to have so many teams, a total of 20 teams participating in this event, and also teams from all over the world, not only from the countries where the A5 universities are active, but also some additional countries. And I must say, in preparing it and also in facilitating the jury in its assessments, we really enjoyed doing this, and especially we enjoyed all your contributions. So to explain a bit more about what we're going to do in this session, I will give the floor to Jente now. So please, Jente, how will we continue today?
So we have a very full and nice program today, but mainly we'll be talking to panelists, youth representatives, members of the jury, farmer entrepreneurs, and other youth, because that's central in this challenge, of course, to hear the voice of youth, to inspire the UNFSS in a year. First we'll introduce the teams in a bit, but quite important, and that's not for now, but later, is that we will have panelists on board as well. For the panelists, it's very important to switch your microphone on if we ask you to speak, and switch it off after you've been speaking. And for all the people that are attending this session, there's no chat, but there is a Q&A button that you can click, and then you can ask questions to the panelists direct. That could be something nice, and we can see if you can have some interactions with the panels, but we will also have some interactions in the session itself. But now first, we would love to introduce you to the panelists of the teams, of the members of the teams, all the participants, by a little introduction video in which you see all the team names, but also tiny bits of their contributions in the shape of a video.
Value chain is really a graphic navigation. This has a far-reaching effect on the quality of food, quantity, and accessibility.
Food loss and waste have become a global problem. FAO shows that about 1.3 billion tons of food is lost and wasted every year.
Our box comprises a network of temperature control and monitoring lockers with innovative self-cleaning technology. It is integrated with an app with behind-scenes coordination algorithm.
I like drinking beer. Not just drinking it, but making it as well.
What is the current situation in urban and peri-urban Africa?
Financial disempowerment of African women negatively impacts their ability to influence nutrition for their families.
The COVID-19 crisis has shown how vulnerable our food systems are to a variety of factors.
Given the importance of companies adopting social and environmental responsibilities today, our service will be interesting for them.
We also propose that governments will take an active part in social media promotion, like raising awareness in this matter.
As the solution is briefly explained by our professor, this slide gives you a detailed overview of our solution.
Very good, student. You haven't wasted any food. Keep it up. This will help us to reduce the food waste. Thank you, sir. It's a nice initiative.
Increase in the cost of midday meal can be compensated by local sourcing of millets.
It is important for us, humans, to understand that our current dietary patterns are unsustainable and a shift is necessary for our survival.
As students' nth part of the food system, we are hungry for change. But are you aware of your power within the food system?
We are Team Waste Up, and this is the multidisciplinary team to achieve it with.
While food waste adds pressure to an ecosystem, it also creates opportunities. Organic waste can be recycled to capture value.
We propose mandatory front-of-package disclosures on packaged foods containing one or more industrial ingredients.
Are you ready for
a label
for you
and our planet?
Our solutions encourage the public and private sectors to lobby for investment in small and medium-sized producers.
Let's work together to create a food system that optimizes both our production and waste of food system.
Wow, that was impressive. 20 short clips of very interesting videos. And of course, we will be talking more about all your contributions later during this session. Before we do that, as Jente already said, we want to introduce some people to you. And I want to start off with introducing the members of the jury of this challenge to all of you. And we do that by a short slideshow, which will be started now.
So that was the video of the jury. So now we hope you have a little bit of an idea who that is. But now I want to go to the first panel member, to introduce the first panel members of this session. And those are the UN youth representatives, Eva and Avi. So they will be joining me here now. Hi, good to see you too. Could you maybe introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about your function and what you do? And yeah, actually that. Maybe we can start with Avi.
Yeah, hi, I am Avi and I'm a student at Wageningen University. I'm doing my master's in nutrition and health, and I am new as a youth representative for the United Nations.
And Eva. We can't hear you, Eva. Maybe your phone is, of your sound is muted. No, we can only see you talk. I'm looking at the technical team, or can you switch on your microphone? No, still not. This is why it's a live session. These things happen. Well, if it won't work, we might try it in a bit. No, I don't think we hear you. No. Well, maybe we can go to introduction of you later, but Eva is also a UN youth representative on biodiversity and food. And you're a very nice team, Eva and Avi. I think you have it's a very nice duo, and good to have you here. First, before I want to hear about your reflections on what you've seen in the challenge, I want to kind of reflect myself on all the contributions that we've had and what we've actually seen in all the videos that the teams have been sending to us. It's been very interesting to see 19 videos of all these teams, very different, all different topics, with all related to food, of course. We've seen many technical solutions to systemic food problems. We've seen many creative solutions to food loss and waste. We've seen many videos about food security, nutrition, and environmental sustainability. And also what I thought was quite interesting is that there were a lot of, or we've seen top videos on pizza, beer, and coffee. And I think those are things that students find very important in their lives. And we've seen also that reflected in our challenge. But also we've seen the very important topic of gender inclusivity and inclusivity for all in relation to food. Well, we've had contributions from, I still want to say, all over the world, which is very impressive, I think, from Brazil, the United States, South Africa, Uganda, the Netherlands, Belgium, the Czech Republic, India, and China. So I think that's quite interesting. But now, most important, what did you think as UN youth representatives? So maybe, Eva, we can try if your microphone is working right now. We can start with you. No, yeah? Not sure? Then I have to
Yes.
ask your colleague, Avi, can you maybe say it?
That's okay. Yeah, maybe I can explain some what the youth representatives include for a starter, what we do. So we are part of the National Youth Council of the Netherlands, and they organize everything for the youth in the Netherlands. But we also are in collaboration with our Ministry of Agriculture, Nature and Food Quality. They are our link to the United Nations. So we go and speak to the youth of the Netherlands to hear what they think about biodiversity, on food quality, and our food systems. And we do this by giving guest lectures, going into schools, giving workshops, and giving large public displays in cities to hear what the youth have to say. And we can further take their ideas, so what they think about it, and we take it to the United Nations as we go to conferences, large conferences such as the CBD on biodiversity or Food System Summit, and we go with the Dutch delegation and we can speak on behalf of the youth. So we are independent, as the youth can think something different as the Dutch delegation, but this is quite a big thing for the Netherlands and for youth. So we are happy to hear what you have to say.
Yeah, it's very nice to have you here and also to ask all these teams what they find. Eva, for you, maybe you can try to do it without the earpods, and maybe that works just through your microphone of your computer, because we would love to hear you too, of course. No, still not.
Maybe you can re-enter the chat, Eva.
Yeah, maybe re-enter the whole thing.
Yeah.
But then maybe for now we will go on, but then we'll hear you later in the panel. Yeah. Okay, then now we'll go to what actually the jury thought. So to Paul.
Yes, thank you, Jente. And indeed, let's give Eva the chance to come back later. Yeah, of course, we had an introduction of the jury just a few minutes ago, and one of the jury members is also present as a panel member today. That's Professor Arnold Brecht. He's the Dean of Education at Wageningen University. And Arnold, I would like to ask you to briefly comment, to give us the general overview of what the jury found of all the contributions of the teams. Could you just, in a few words, in a few minutes, give your first impressions, please?
Okay, yes, I will do that. Can you see me? Am I visible?
Yes, you are.
Oh. Okay, well, thank you very much, Paul, for the introduction. Yes, indeed, the 6 jury members already introduced you before. They really have looked at all the, well, of course, all the informations, and we really were overall impressed by the creativity and also the nice design of the topics. But also, it's clear that, let's say, solving the food systems or food system problems in the world is not that easy, because all you have contributed with interesting solutions, interesting challenges, also nice animations, but it really became apparent that it's not something which it can easily be solved. So in this sense, there's quite a challenge ahead, and I think so there's still work to do for the future. That also reflects that it's really challenge wording, because it's not something we can easily solve in probably within 1 decade, but really you need to work on how we enhance or innovate our food systems. We'll come to that back later, but we really have seen very interesting contributions which are worthwhile to continue.
Thank you.
Yes, Paul?
Yes, thank you, Arnold, for this first impression by the jury. And the technical people here in the studio just informed us that Eva's sound is already working now. So I give it back to you, Jente, to have a short discussion with her.
Yeah. Hey, okay. I think now we have Eva in. Yeah, we can see you now. And maybe it's also possible to get Avi on there as well. So, oh yeah, hey, we're there. Good. Technology is working well. Eva, maybe you can well tell a little bit more about yourself, because we missed your introduction, of course.
So my name is Eva. I'm 22 years old and I live in Utrecht. And together with Avi, we're the first Dutch youth representatives on biodiversity and food. Myself, I started in June, so that was when I was elected. And maybe it's interesting to note that we are this is the first time this theme has been introduced in the Netherlands. So we have several youth representatives, for example, on sustainable development, human rights and security, and European affairs, but now we have biodiversity and food too, because this topic couldn't be disregarded, and it would be too much to include for sustainable development. So now we're working towards the food system summit mainly, and the CBD, like AP just said.
Yeah, that's great. And I can imagine it's quite challenging for you guys in these times to really connect with youth, because most of the interaction has to be online, or like we are interacting at the moment. But actually, what I was wondering, we didn't talk about it before, but what were your first reflections when you saw all the videos of the student teams? Maybe Avi, you can start with your views, and then we go to Eva.
Yeah, sure. yeah, we were quite inspired by all the teams. I thought that what they said was quite creative and showed a lot of dedication. We think that it is an example of how you can think different on one challenge. Like we have a big challenge on the food systems, and there are multiple ways to tackle it. And the way we should face it is we should face it with creativity and innovation. And this is what the teams did. So what we saw, and we saw it with a lot of joy, was that the problems were difficult sometimes, but looked at in a creative manner. These are some of the ideas were really, really good in order to change the food system. What we think is that in order to change it, you need to think outside of the box and outside the box of the rules and things that are already present right now. And we think that the youth is able to think outside of the box. They are creative, they're innovative, and that is what was displayed over here. And we are young enough to experience the consequences of this crisis, of this food crisis, and what will happen in 20, 30, 40 years. But we're old enough to think about how we can change it, and old enough to see how and what needs to be changed. We need to be critical, and we need to be critical. Yeah, that's what we thought.
Yeah, and
But what
maybe
I
another Jutta, and another question maybe for you. Do you think that there's often enough that youth get their voice heard, or that they can that older people listen to what they have to say, or
for me?
yeah,
Are you asking me or
Avi?
Avi?
I think the Dutch ministry is quite well in listening to the Dutch youth, because they want to change, but they don't know how. They're quite rust in their bases, like they don't know how to think outside of the box, and they know the youth can, but there is not a very big platform for the youth. So that's why we come up and talk to the youth and take it to the ministry or take it to the United Nations. But there could be a larger platform because we have a lot to offer.
Yeah, I think so too. And then maybe Eva, can you have also shortly a remark what you saw, and then we have to go through the panel.
Yeah, what caught our attention was that like the groups took many different perspectives. So there were many problems that were talked about, such as food waste or greenhouse gas emission, pollution, uneven distributions, and changing these types of issues that we face requires a perspective from multiple levels. So it's not only behavioral change on an individual level, but everyone involved in the supply needs change. So farms need to be redesigned, factories need new inventions for their waste, and municipalities need to rethink their communities and budgets around the food system. So it's really interesting to see how the different approaches that the students took.
Yeah. Well, thank you for your first remarks. And now we actually want to go to the bigger panel, where we have some other panelists that are also channeling in now. And the panel will work that we also during the panel introduce the teams, or we can ask questions to the teams and try to invite them to speak as well. But in a minute, I of course also introduced Eva and Avi, but we also have Clarena Amata. She is a farmer food entrepreneur, and she won the One Young World Innovation Award. Welcome. Could you maybe introduce yourself to the public?
Okay, thank you. My name is, am I loud?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, so my name is Clarena Amata. I am from Kenya, and I run an agribusiness enterprise that is called Transform Ventures. And here we are all about transforming farming, transforming our local food system to reduce hunger and working towards no poverty in our community. So we are involved in greenhouse tomato production. We also do poultry rearing and dairy farming. And we also offer training and consultancy across the agricultural value chain. And we are also involved in our project that is called Kitchen Gardening. And here we work with schools and homes to set up kitchen gardens to ensure continuous supply of local vegetables at kitchen doorsteps.
Oh, wow, that's very interesting. And it's so nice to have you here from Kenya. And that's very nice. Thank you to join our panel. And I also would like to introduce another panelist. And I think that's the youngest panelist we have today. And that's Robin Callahan. Very welcome. Very nice of you to be here. You joined in the Rabobank Food for Future challenge a couple of weeks ago or 2 weeks ago. Could you tell us a bit about yourself and what you did in the challenge?
Well, I contributed to the Food for Future challenge. So that meant that all kinds of young people came together to create ideas for a more sustainable future in the food companies. And we made up ideas, and eventually my team won. And later on, I was asked to join this meeting. Oh, I'm Robin Kellem, by the way. I don't know if I said that.
Yeah, very nice to have you here. And what kind of ideas did your team came up with? Like, what did you win with in that challenge?
Well, we wanted people to know the carbon footprints behind food, so that you didn't want to throw food away. So we wanted to create an app where you can see what kind of footprint there is behind a food piece, like piece of meat or an apple. So you might get the knowledge to not throw away an apple so easily, like that.
Oh, that's really cool as well. And do you think that food is a topic that is very present with youth nowadays, or that you see that friends of you maybe also think it's a very interesting topic? Because you're 16 years old, so it's quite, yeah. But do you see that?
Well, I don't think it's acknowledged enough. I think sometimes we talk about food, but it's more what we want to eat. I don't think it's very acknowledged that there's an actual food problem and there's a lot of waste going on.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think it's talked enough about.
Not enough, but you're here, so
No.
that's great. So thank you
Yeah.
for joining our panel. Actually, I would like to go to the panel now, and to all, and also, of course, Arnold Brecht is also part. And could we now also see all the panelists in the overview in Zoom, please? Hey, that looks great. Thank you. Well, in a minute, we'll go and ask questions to all the team members. And first, I want to say how it works, because technical is quite a complicated thing to do, so I hope it works. I'm going to ask in a minute per panel member what kind of question you would like to ask to the teams. And if you could also then note what team and team number you would actually ask the question to. So for instance, question or team 1. Then we can also channel to team 1 and ask if they can respond to the question. And well, we hope that will work. So, and in that sense, I hope that we can get a little bit of a interaction and ask about their interesting innovations that they send to us. And well, for me, Avi is on the top left. So maybe it's nice to start with you, Avi. What kind of question would you like to ask, and for what team?
I wanted to ask team 9, which is from India.
And what kind of question would you like to ask?
Yeah, I thought their idea was great. I think it is a big problem, like with the rice straws, and I think their solution was innovative. But I wanted to know how it works. Like, they wanted to use microbes for fermentation of rice straws, but I was curious to know how it works and what they want to do with it.
Okay, so we can ask team 9 now, hey, what was actually their idea and how does it work?
Meaning that our actions have a big influence on the world system.
Can we have team 9? Yeah, I think we have team 9. Can you maybe switch on your microphone? Sahil, I think. Yes. Could you answer the question of Avi?
Can you hear me?
Can you try to talk again?
Do you hear me?
I'm not sure. I can't hear you very clearly yet. Technicians are looking at it now, but good to see you.
Thank you.
Yeah, we can hear you now. So could you maybe answer the question of Avi?
Okay, thank you for asking such a wonderful question. So basically, our idea is to utilize the rice straw that is produced in huge amount. So we do that by utilizing the process of the fermentation, like growing solid state fermentation by using the food grade fungi, and then get the growth factors out of those compounds. That growth factors can be further utilized in alternative to the traditional growth media, like we use growth media for growing the microbes, yeast, and fungi for food purpose. So that's our main idea, is to decrease the raw material cost to grow the microbes, so we can alternatively decrease the compounds that the microbes can synthesize, like the vitamins, minerals. So our main focus is to decrease our raw material cost, so we can offer these micronutrients to the people, and we can reach its viability also.
Thank you for your answer. A very, very technical solution, I think. So in that sense, is really we can see that you're very you thought it very well through. Avi, is your question answered by this, or do you want to ask an additional question to the team?
Well, sorry, but I couldn't hear him. The sound was on your side, so in the studio, but we couldn't hear it at home, or I couldn't hear it at home. I heard him very, very silently.
Soft?
Yeah.
Maybe
Okay, I can explain again.
Can you hear him now? Can you hear him now, Avi?
No.
Can you talk
But
again,
maybe that's
Sahil?
my problem.
Do you hear me?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, could you maybe answer
Okay.
the question? Maybe a brief compilation
Okay,
of the
I will.
answer.
So basically, our solution is to use the rice straw that is wasted in huge amount. So we do by utilizing the fermentation ability of fungi. So we do by using the solid state fermentation to extract the growth factors that would help in alternative to the traditional we are using to grow the microbes, fungus. So by utilizing these our growth factors, we basically reducing the cost of using the media to grow the microbes. So that's why we can also reduce the byproducts that we can get from these microbes, like the vitamins, minerals. So basically, we can give it price reduction to the microorganisms, so reachability to the poor people of the society is more. So that's our main idea.
Thank you very much. Avi, has that answered your question?
Yes, it did. Thank you. Thank you for the
Thank
question.
you.
Thank you very much. I think we have to go to, or we'll go to the next panelist and the next question. So that will be Eva then. Could you maybe ask your question or tell us your question and what team you want to ask the question?
Yes, of course. Is my microphone working still? Just to check.
Yes.
Can you hear me? Okay, perfect. So my question is for Team 8 from Czech Republic. Because you put emphasis on biodiversity, and of course, we couldn't agree more to your message, because we're the advocates of biodiversity according to the youth of the Netherlands. And also my compliments for the video, by the way, it looked very pretty. But I have a question: how can we make this concrete? So, what specific steps do you think should be taken to include biodiversity in our decision making and policies?
Okay, very nice. So we go to Team 8 in Czech Republic.
Hi, can you hear me?
I can hear you. So I hope also I think
Okay.
so. Could you answer the question?
Yeah, it's working.
Yeah, thank you for the question. Well, we mentioned that in our video, we would like to set that. Sorry.
Oh, sorry, your
30%.
camera is not on. Sorry. I get these instructions here in the studio. Could you maybe switch on your camera so we can see you?
Oh, sorry. Yes. Can you hear me? Can you see me now?
Yeah, we can see and
Fine.
hear you. Very good. Thank you.
Okay, fine. And so our team was just talking about that. We need governments will take 30% for their institutions like hospitals, schools, etc. Sorry, I'm I'm a little bit lost.
All right, take your time.
Yeah, like there must be some percent of food which is produced sustainably and from some special local varieties. Those varieties are in every corner of the world, and we need to use them because they are they are not used anymore. Maybe they are in the gene banks, but we need them preserved in the country as well. So our call was that governments must take 30% for their sorry.
So you're calling upon governments to also take action and help out in your innovation.
Yes, that's true. I think that it was clear in our video that we called that governments will take 30% for their companies and hospitals and schools. They have some canteens, and they will take those those. Sorry, I'm completely lost now.
No, that's okay. It
That's
was very-
okay.
Sorry for.
We've seen
for
your
that.
video, and it's very good to know that you have a very direct call to action to specific stakeholders in the system, and your ideas then to call upon governments. So that's very important as well, I think. Did that?
I just
Yeah. Would you like to add
Sorry.
something still?
Okay. Just want to say that the biodiversity is really important, not just the wild one, but the cultivated as well. So that's the topic of our video, I think.
Thank you very much. Yeah. Then we go back to our panelists, to Eva, I think. Well, did that answer your question? Did you get a little bit more clarity about the video?
It did. Thank you for your elaboration. And yeah, like I said, I couldn't agree more. Like it's such an important message. So thank you.
Yeah, yeah. And then I would like to go to Clarena in Kenya. What kind of Clarena, could you maybe ask your our question?
Yeah, thank you. My question goes to Team South Africa. It's called African Food Systems. I loved your idea on inclusive farming and getting to go online and yeah, supporting farmers and enabling the end consumers get the food. So my question is on how do you intend to go about it? I believe farming is different in Africa and in our African nations, and getting to network with all these value chain actors sometimes it's troublesome, it's difficult. So how are you going to work towards networking with farmers, networking with all these value chain actors to be able to ensure you have an online system that will serve both consumers and producers?
Oh, thank you. That's a very clear question, very practical question. So, how to actually get that network started? What team exactly? Again, I missed what team it was. Team number.
The African Food Systems, South Africa.
Oh, Team 5.
I think
Yeah.
so.
Okay, perfect. Team 5. Can we get you on?
Right.
Yes.
Hi. Yes. That's why. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you properly. Yeah.
Okay. Yes. It's very diverse in Africa. That's why we want to start with small zones. So we want to see how it works in a small zone, and then take this idea and take it to other zones, to other countries as well. We want to get local governments involved, local NGOs, individuals who want to get involved. Yes, and get their different opinions, because it is difficult to get everyone involved. It will start out small, maybe at a community center, bringing awareness of the project. And then I think it will grow from there. That's why we want to have the online marketplace and an app as well. And then we will have the community center, because not everyone has access to the internet or have cell phones. So yes, that's what we want to try and do, to start out small. I don't know if it's very clear, but see how it works. And also it's easier to start a system out small and to sort out all the problems and to take it from there. So I don't know if that answers your question.
Well, yeah, Clarena, does it answer your question?
Yes, it does. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, I think it's very important also to include a very systemic approach, also networking with people. So I think that was a very nice example of that. Arnold, can we hear your question, and for what team you would like to ask the question?
Yes, thank you very much. I'd like to address team number 4. Team number 4, they have a quite creative mix between beer leftovers and pizza boxes. And my question is, what kind of obstacles do you see in actually realizing it in practice?
Okay, and I like it, a little bit critical question. How is it actually going to happen? So team 4.
Hi. Can
Hello.
you see me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I understand that it's a product, so the obstacle is huge. First, cost is what will attract, and right now, as you know, that all the spent grain still goes into the dump yard. So we actually tried something with one of the breweries back in Belgium. If they would see a solution, because right now some farmers pick it up, but they still pay the cost. So they asked us for solutions, and the 6-pack rings is feasible as one of the things that's already been used, that they have also been trying. But we also saw that pizza packaging boxes, so we thought, why not combine? And that's why like, to realize it, all the packaging manufacturers, they are also looking for innovative ideas to reduce that substantially adds to their reduced cost. And it's very important. And so as we came up on the calculations of the product mix and everything, we saw that it was 30 € cheaper. And also to the pizza companies, when they tried this product, it was quite sustainable, and it could carry, and it was good to warm your product. So it can be from a small scale, like from small scale breweries and local pizzerias, and then it can grow to a bigger scale once the packaging company is like invested into it, and they can produce bulk. So that's how we think the approach would be.
Okay, so you actually tried and asked.
Yeah, because we saw a lot of wastage, like we were brewing back, and also I was also involved in the packaging course. So we thought, like, okay, these are two of the main waste, and we saw that everything still goes into the dumping ground. So yeah.
Oh, thank you. That's very a good answer, and also nice to hear that you've really thought about the how to practically produce your whole product. So I think that's very important about the feasibility. Well, thank you for your answer. And now I want to go to Robin. Could you maybe ask your question?
Yeah, my question is for Team 13 from Wageningen University. So I think it's very important to educate consumers, especially youth, because we're the next generation. But how do you plan to reach the youth and educate them?
Very good question.
Hi.
Yeah, hi.
Thank you for your question. So we have different generations which we want to include in our solution. So as you said, adolescents, which we want to reach through social media, because they're very active on that right now. So we want to use that platform to reach them with our message. And we also want to include young adults, young professionals in our plan to give them a bigger platform and connect them with companies who can help them in set up activities and even reach a bigger platform and more people. And furthermore, we basically want to create our own brand in which we can give as much content as possible to as much people as possible. And so that way we can reach also a lot of people. And also,
Thank you.
yeah.
Thank you. Robin, do you think that's a good idea? Do you think that your friends would also go and join?
Yeah, I think social media is the best option because everybody is on social media. So yeah, I think I agree with that plan.
Thank you. I think we still have time, plenty of time for more questions. So I would like to do the round over again, and then we'll go to Avi. If you can ask your question to maybe another team or yeah. Oh, we can't hear you. Can you maybe switch on your mic?
Yes, I'm sorry. I want to ask a question to the mixed Dutch team, so it's team 14. They had an idea on using the scraps of coffee grinds of coffee for a biochar. I think I'm pronouncing it right like that. And we had a question on the reactor. Like, do you want to build the reactor over there? Do you want to give them ideas on how to build it, or do you want to ship it? Like, how do you want to implement the bioreactor on the place of the coffee?
Great question. Maybe can I ask you, Team 14, also to explain what your idea was to the other people that are watching?
Sure. Can everyone hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, great. So yeah, thanks for the question, Avi. Yeah, and I guess she wants to know what our idea was and then how we're gonna achieve it. Do we want to outsource it to Indonesia, or do you want to produce it in Europe, for example, and ship it over there? So to answer the first question is that we want to make use of coffee pulp. So this is the kind of waste that is generated in the very first steps of the coffee harvesting. So you take out the coffee seeds, and then you end up with the waste of the fruit, which is called coffee pulp. And then at this time, there's no really use for that. So we want to make use of that waste because it really generates a lot of CO2 emission as well. And so we want to convert that with a simple physical process called pyrolysis, and that is achieved in like an aerobic reaction, and that you get a material that is called biochar that can help boost soil fertility, and also quite a useful material in the future as well for industrial applications. So that's our main idea. And then to answer the second question is that in the long term, we would want to because it's a very simple idea. Now we've been able as a team to just make a prototype for the reactor. But then in the future, we want to develop the prototype even further to make this technology that we propose in the scale that we propose. And then the next step would be also to have manufacturing partners in Indonesia, because I think that's the only way to go. Like there is no way that we can produce it here and ship it to Indonesia. So we have to really collaborate with the local stakeholders, with local nonprofit organizations, local government, and also local manufacturers. I hope that answers the question.
Yes, it does. I see. Avi nodding, but it's very nice to hear that there's also like a prototype, and that you also need manufacturers and companies actually to join in order to make your innovation work. And then Eva, we can go on to you again.
Thank you. So my next question is for Team 18 from the United States, who had an idea to create a label on packages showing different dimensions, so the social, sustainable, and health aspects, if I remember correctly. So I really love this idea. because it gives consumers the chance to like see it in the blink of an eye. Like it can really help them in their consumer decision journey. But I'm wondering, it might be complicated to convince all the different stakeholders because, of course, it's quite a big project to change the packages of all food products. So how do you think about that? And do you think this is an obstacle?
I have to inform that Team 18 sadly can't make it to the call. So maybe can you ask this question to another team, or do you have a second question that you could maybe ask another team, because Team 18 sadly is not in our panel anymore.
I think, let me see. I think Team 17, is Team 17 here?
Yes.
Also from the United States?
Yes.
I would like to ask them the same question, because they were also talking about packaging, but then in combination with an education program. But yeah, how do you plan to convince all the different stakeholders?
Okay, then we'll go to Team 17 for that. Hello, still dark over there, I see.
Yeah, so how are we going to get more stakeholders on board with our new label? Is that kind of the question?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I guess with our label was a little bit different from the other group that you had asked about. Our particular label was based on information that was already on the package, already in the list of ingredients, and so it's not asking any additional work on the part of the manufacturers to do more work with regards to traceability and calculating, sustainability metrics. So it was kind of a small ask from food companies, and again, because it's based on information that was already available. And it also, ours was calling attention to industrial ingredients, and we feel that this is kind of in line with consumer trends in the US. So we feel like this is something that's already in line with what many consumers are looking for. So we felt like it would be kind of maybe a sweet spot in terms of what consumers are looking for. Wasn't a big ask from the industry. So hopefully it would be a label that would be kind of readily adoptable for those reasons.
Thank you for your answer. Is that does it answer your question, Eva?
Yeah, thank you. It does. It sounds like you thought about it very well.
Thank you.
Then we'll go to the next panelist again. I think Clarena, it's your turn again. Do you have another question for one of the teams?
Yes, and my question goes to Team Whole Grain from China, and your idea is about reducing waste. So I'd like to ask the sustainability impact in relation to transforming or to fixing this food system. How are you going to measure your sustainability and the impact that you'll create in you reducing food waste?
Thank you. Then we'll go to Team 2 Whole Grain. Yeah.
Okay. So could you hear me?
Yes, I think we can hear you loud and clear. Thank you.
Hi. Okay, sorry, I just lost when you talk about the question. Could you please repeat that again?
Okay, so my question is about your sustainability impact. What are you fixing the local food system? Because we are all about transforming this local food system. So I know you are reducing waste, but how do you plan to measure the impact that you'll create in this food chain? Sort of.
Okay, so maybe we can start from some on-campus campaign, and we decided to just because we have designed an app to solve this problem. So actually, we plan to get the first 1,000 users in our on-campus through our campaign, and then we can create maybe like a hashtag on the social network, probably on the Sina Weibo or the TikTok, and to create more people to participate in our campaign. And then, And we also want to launch an empty-plate campaign to cooperate with some network companies to help us to achieve our goals. So that is our plan to solve our food waste problem. Hope I answer it correctly.
Go back to Clarena.
Yeah, it
Thank
makes
you.
sense, and good luck.
Thank you, Clarena, and the team for answering the question. Then we'll go back to Arnold again for another question.
Yes, thank you very much. I have a question for Team 11. And Team 11 focus on the nutrition of children at school. Well, I think it's very nice analysis and also very, well, not called a niche, but really focused. But my question is, because the analysis is clear, but how do you really want to implement it? Because that was not so, well, for me, less clear, to be honest.
Okay, so thank you for the question. We actually, at our institute, we have planned to implement it at a small level. Like we have divided the Indian subcontinent into the north, south, east, and west and northeast. Then what we have planned is that in our institute, there is a program called Village Adoption Program, in which we form the cluster of 15-20 students along with a supervisor. We go to the villages and we live there and educate the people about the food processing or any agricultural output if we have. So what we plan is to procure the grains from the wholesale market, the millets, the regional millets, and then try to implement it at the respective regions and study the outcome for a certain period of time. We can actually implement it pan India and in a more clustered way in the North Indian part of the India, because our institute is situated in the North Indian region. So will have the most extensive study in the North Indian part. So that is our plan to implement at the small level. If we find the improvements which at the pilot level, then we plan to forward it to the government bodies.
Thank you for the very nice and clear answer and a good question again. I'm very happy to hear so many teams and see so many faces from all over the world. I have to say, yeah, that's really special. Well, go to our youngest panelist again. I hope you have another question as well for us, Robin.
Yes, I do. I have for Team 15 from Cornell University. I really agree with this idea and think it's on an economic level and on a global scale, it's very good. My question was, how do you make people participate in this idea? So how will you, make people participate?
Yeah, team 15. Yeah, maybe you can briefly say like what your innovation was and how you're going to participate or like make people join in.
Hello, everyone. Can you hear me and see me?
Yes.
Awesome. So our idea worked similarly to Team 14's, taking inspiration from biochar as a way to integrate further waste processing into municipal services. We wanted to solve two problems. One being that 80% of the world's population lives in cities, and cities are seeing an economic crisis. And second, closing the waste gap that we see in a linear food system. And so our solution to this problem was developing a playbook that encourages environmental actors, municipal governments, and federal governments, as well as food justice activists to come together and really integrate pre-existing infrastructure into moving from a linear to a circular economy. So in the research that we did, we found that there are over $1 billion worth of grants available to biochar processing ideas. And so through this playbook, we were hoping to get municipalities and food justice activists to come together and really create an idea that that brings together that money, that $1 billion available for use.
Okay, I think that was a really clear answer, but I of course have to ask Robin, does that answer your question, or would you like to ask another additional question?
No, I'm fine. That was great.
I'm gonna look to my colleague. Is there another time for another question, or you think we have to go to the most exciting part of the whole?
Let's continue to the.
Let's continue to the next section.
Yes.
Section, yeah. What are we gonna do now, Paul?
Okay, now we come to a very exciting. Well, the discussion has been very exciting as well, of course. But now we're coming to the part that I think most of you also have been waiting for. We're gonna award the prizes to the winners of this challenge. Before we do that, I would like to ask Arnold Brecht to elaborate on the jury report and how you came up to the prize winners that we're going to announce shortly.
Yes. Well, thank you very much, Paul. And maybe first I will explain a bit the procedure, and then Paul will announce the prize winners. But maybe before we start, it's good to mention that winning, of course, is a nice element of this contest, this challenge. But probably participation is even more important than winning. And I've seen it also with other challenges we organized. We have been involved in. That actually, they already participating in a challenge like this really also enrich your life. So, of course, we have a winner, or we have a few winners, but that's not the ultimate purpose. The ultimate purpose is to really participate. I want to thank all teams for participating, and hopefully you learn a lot, and maybe you can use your knowledge gained through this challenge for your future career and life. Now a bit about the jury. So what we have done, you have seen already the jury members. We have evaluated your work in the midterm review by giving scores for problem description, stakeholder involvement, solutions, innovations, and call to action. And and that was communicated. And what we did later, we looked at all your videos. So all individual jury members have looked at all your individual videos, and we are asked to nominate five teams that are potentially prize winners. So independently from each other, we have nominated 5 teams, sent it to the central organization and independently. And then we had a meeting in order to discuss the final results. First of all, I think some of you, in order to be precise on the jury process, some of the jury members have indicated already a preference, like this is my first candidate, this is my second one, third, etc. Some couldn't really make a decision, and they just nominate 5 as potential candidates for as a prize winner, and therefore we have used their evaluation with equal points. So we had a meeting, and then we discussed the outcome. It was clear that we had one winner, because all jury members have appointed one team as as a potential winner, and also in terms of points, they received most points. However, when it comes to the second, third, it was really confusing. We had a long discussion about how to continue, because we really couldn't make a decision between various teams, and therefore we have decided to add an additional prize. And finally, we came to the conclusion that we have 4 teams that won a second prize, and maybe we can now show their names.
Yes, thank you, Arnold. Indeed, the jury has decided to award 4 prizes of €500 instead of 2 prizes.
Can we hear you?
We're gonna see who that is now.
Okay, well, I would, we can't hear it, but I would give them a very warm applause. Congratulations for these 4 points.
Yes, thank you, Arnold. Indeed, it was a very, I was present at the jury meetings to facilitate that, and you had a hard time choosing because all the contributions were really great. And I think it's a wise decision by the jury to award some extra prizes here. But now the moment is there to see who won this challenge and the prize of 2,000 euros. Arnold, can you, without telling who it is, of course, talk a bit about what the jury thought of this video and the solution that the students made?
Yeah, well, now it comes to the last, the winner of the Food Systems Innovation Challenge. And in fact, of course, I will not tell who it wins, but the elements for the winning the prize were in various aspects. First of all, it should focus on a clear aspect of the food systems. We also thought that the approach is really creative. Also, it is very well presented. But what we really appreciate overall that it's both creative, but also there is a sign, or at least a very clear sign of a proof of concept. And that triggers the last part of the Food System Innovation Challenge. When we talk about innovation is something that is new, is creative, but also it's feasible. So also it can be realized. And well, taking all these aspects into account, so good video, creative solution, really tackling a problem, but especially the next step is also feasible, and there's also a sign of a proof of concept that really creates the difference with the other teams, and therefore we have awarded the prize of the Food System Innovation Challenge for 2022. And now, Paul, floor is yours.
Now we're gonna watch the video of the winning team, so to see it in its entirely, and well, afterwards we also of course would like to get a reaction of that team. So let's have a look. Who won this challenge?
We are Team Waste Up. Worldwide, food waste accounts for a large part of total greenhouse gas emissions. The largest part happens at the place where our food production starts, the farm. We focus on the production of the Dutch drink of choice, coffee. 3 problems are identified with smallholder coffee farmers in Southeast Asia. The first one is unused coffee pulp waste on the farm. As much as 60% of the coffee cherry is not used and burned instead to produce heat for drying coffee beans. Also, Indonesia's coffee bean quality is decreasing due to heavy and irregular rainfall. This leads to purchasing more artificial fertilizer. Soil degrades and future yields are lower, making it the vicious cycle of income and food insecurity for coffee farmers in Indonesia. Waste Up promotes the circular economy by feeding unused agricultural residues back into the food system. We offer a solution that enables this, while offering benefits to the farmer and the environment. We provide the installment of a decentralized pyrolysis-based reactor to Indonesian farming communities. We also offer farmers a network of biochar buyers and take care of certifying their biochar. This is how Waste Up operates. Farmer cooperatives rent the reactor annually and produce biochar, subsidized and held by a local facilitator. Biochar is used by the farmers directly or sold on the market. CO2 savings can be bought by companies in the form of carbon credits to offset their emissions through our partner Pure Earth. This is how it works. Farmers bring their coffee beans and cherry pulp waste to the local hub. The pulp undergoes a non-combustion pyrolysis reaction. The heat by this reaction dries an entire container of coffee beans, providing a reliable and clean alternative. Because the technology efficiently dries and preserves all the coffee beans, the farmer sells more coffee at a higher quality, meaning a higher income. At the same time, biochar is produced from the pulp. Biochar is known as the missing carbon sink. It sequesters carbon, improves yield, and reduces the need for expensive fertilizers. Summed up, these are the benefits that farmers can experience with Waste Up's innovation. Based on our calculations, these benefits could amount to $700 for each farmer per year. A cooperative of 20 farmers can rent our technology as a service and divide the costs. In the end, total benefits for farmers outweigh the cost by 5 times. The goal is to have 2,500 operating units supporting 50,000 smallholder farmers by 2025, with a return on investment of 64%. The next step is to form a local coalition with the Indonesian government, farmers' associations, NGOs, and local universities to build capital and to acquire letters of intent. These are the goals for WasteUp for 2025. And this is the multidisciplinary team to achieve it with. Soil security equals income security equals food security. Thank you very much.
Well, congratulations, Team 14. You won a challenge. Yes, you won 2,000 euros, so that's quite a lot of money. Could we have a reaction of you what your feelings are at the moment because of winning? Go back to Team 14.
Yeah, can everyone hear me?
Yes, congratulations.
Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, we're very honored to win this award and to be awarded the first prize. And yeah, we'd like to thank you, of course, the organizing team, the juries, the panelists, other competitors, and also our supervisor, Ton Timmermans. Yeah, and yeah, we're very honored, and we really want to bring this idea forward. So not just to just come up with an idea, but we really want to follow up this idea, and I think we're on a right path to that, and we're gonna make use of the prize and also the connection that we made from this competition for sure. Yeah, and maybe some final words from our team is that I think building up from what Evie said previously, like to overcome all these challenges, we need innovations in all sectors, in all value chain of the food system, and require creativity and innovation for sure. And I think if I may add one thing to that is also we need urgency. So let's make our ideas happen for sure, and do it as fast as we could. Because some people say this is the last decade to save the world. Maybe this is our way to do it. So yeah.
Thank you.
That's all for me.
Thank you very much. I think that's very important things you're saying, and also for you, important. You built the prototype, so it can be a chance for you to really develop your plan. But to end this whole session, I would love to go back to our panel and to see the last reflection of them and what they think about this whole thing. I'm not sure if we can get Clarena also back on. Can't see her at the moment. Yes, there she is. Maybe a short reaction from the panel members on what you think about the winning team and what you hope to see them do in the upcoming year, also towards the UNFSS. So a bit boring, but I'm just gonna go the same round all over again. Let's start with Avi. Can we have your first reflections on the winners?
Yeah, of course. Congratulations to the winner. Eva and I watched the clips together, and we really thought your idea was really good. It's like was said before, it had everything from the creativity to the feasibility. And I thought personally it was really nice that you included like soil security, because soil security is not only important for our food system, but also for our biodiversity. And just as you said, maybe we have just another 10 years or 20 years to change the food system. So I hope you will do it. And I'm looking forward to seeing where your project will go, because it has a lot of potential.
Thank you.
Remarks as well. And Eva, do you have anything to add to that?
I do. Yeah, congratulations, winning team. I completely agree with Avi. I think it's a very concrete and comprehensive idea, and yeah, I'm inspired, and I'm sure you will spend the money very well.
Yeah, thank you. And then we'll go back to Clarena.
Okay, so the fact that it's increasing incomes and it's improving soils and the overall sustainability aspect of it. It's congratulations from me, and we are looking forward to seeing you achieving what you just put forward.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And of course, we already heard what Arnold had to say about the team. So I would like to go to Robin now. What do you think as youngest here of this idea?
Well, of course, I want to say congratulations. I think it's well, you deserved it. I love that it has also the economical aspects as the environmental aspects. So I don't know. I think it's well deserved. And congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think that's really, really nice to hear. Indeed, it was a food system a challenge in the end. So if it has a systemic effect in the end, that's of course what really matters. Now, actually, we already reflected on the outcomes of the challenge. Maybe we can go into the wrap up, but also we have all these panelists here. First, I would like to thank all the panelists. If you still want to raise something or ask a question, you can do that now. And otherwise, we will go to the closing remarks of us here. But it was really nice to hear all your questions and contributions. And I want to also say that as Wageningen, of course, we organize this because we find it very important to hear the voices of youth, but not only now, but also in running to the UNFSS. And we're continuously seeing and looking how we can incorporate the voices of youth, but also not now, but also after the challenges. So please keep tuned on that, because we hope to stay in touch with the members and all the participants of this challenge, because there are so many beautiful ideas. And also seeing that there were 20 teams that actually entered this challenge, it kind of shows that this is really a topic that is pressing and that youth really find important. Maybe as the last questions to Eva and Avi as UN youth representatives, how would you like to take all the outcomes of this challenge forward as in your role as UN youth representatives? Maybe I can, Eva, maybe you can start, and then if Avi has something to, we can go back to her.
Oh, yeah, I just unmuted myself. But yeah, like you said, I think this is a great way that once again showed how important youth participation is and how creative young people can be. So, and it gave us a great insight into what people think about and what they think should be nice solutions for the future. So we're definitely going to bundle this and remember it when we go to the Food System Summit. And yeah, Avi, do you want to add something?
Yeah, I don't know if we said it, but we have probably some speech time at the Food System Summit. So as the representatives, we can speak on behalf of the youth. So we will think about all the implementations and ideas of the youth, because what was nice is to see that we all agree that the food system has to change, and you just made the first step. Like, everyone involved made the first step to think about and to challenge the food system. And we are the future, and we are the decision makers and the policy makers of the future. So I am interested to see where the future will take us, and I'm proud.
That's very very beautiful. Then now I wanna say goodbye to all the panel members and sorry?
Some words from Arnold.
And some words
We'll do that.
from Arnold, but we'll go to
Yes.
Paul, and he will talk about that. Yeah.
Yes, thank you, Jente. To also give Arnold Brecht the possibility to react as a representative of the organizing universities, the A5 universities. Arnold, could you please give some reflections, your main takeaways from all the videos, all the contributions, but also from this discussion, and maybe also how universities can play a role in ensuring these transformations in the food systems that are brought up by the youth can be incorporated.
Yeah, thank you very much, Paul. I think we are almost at the end of the award ceremony session. So it seems to be the end of the process, but I think it's just the start of a new. It's just the beginning, in fact, because I think all the 19 videos or 19 contributions have really demonstrated that by really coming up with creative ideas and also interesting observations on how the food system works, we are able to change it. And I think I really hope that with your initial proposals, you will continue working on it or continue to inspire other people in order to take up your ideas, work with it. Maybe you can continue with them yourself in your master thesis or other projects. Really try to work. And I think that really the winning team today, potentially you're all winning teams, but the winning team demonstrates it's not only about ideas, but also about making things work in practice. And I really hope that the universities involved, but you as young professionals are able to take up the challenge and really change the food systems, which is really essential for sustainability in the future of both ourselves, but also for the earth. And thank you all, and I wish you a very healthy life.
Thank you, Arnold. Yeah, that brings us to the end of this session, Jente. And I think we can say that I really enjoyed the discussions. I really enjoyed watching all the videos. Before we go, I want to thank again all the panelists, but of course also all the teams, and let's not forget the supervisors who guided them through the process. For you to know, all the videos are still available on the website of Wageningen UR, but also on the website of the pre-event hosted by the World Economic Forum. And a video of this session will also be published on the YouTube channel of Wageningen University and Research. Once again, thank you all for participating. It's been a pleasure, and we hope to see you back in the near future. Thank you.